Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how to sales engineer. A few weeks ago I published a newsletter where I talk about how to sales engineer. And basically I wrote down that in sales engineering, especially in the HVAC industry, we get a lot of product training. So traditionally we're set up as outside sales and inside sales. So outside salespeople, they go out, they call on engineers and contractors, they build relationships, they go out and visit, do product lunch and learns, basically customer management, customer relationship management. And the inside salespeople, they support the outside salespeople by putting together submittals, putting together quotes, sending those out to the people who request them if the outside salesperson is out and about. They answer phone calls. They do all of the back end work that the outside salespeople can't do at the moment. And along with being an inside salesperson, there's a lot of training, and it's mostly product training. So traditionally, you have your rep firms or your distributors, and they have line cards with the different manufacturers that they represent. And sometimes those people will come in and do product trainings, which is all valuable. You know, you need to know what the heck you're selling. You need to know what the advantages are, how to price them up, where to find stuff online, and that's all super valuable. But one thing that I noticed was most places don't do they don't do training on how to do sales. Now, what do I mean by that? They don't tell you the soft skills, or they don't teach you those things. They don't kind of walk you through like this is how to manage an account. So in this video, I'm going to talk about things that I picked up along the way that has helped me in my career. Disclaimer: this is unique to my experience and my career. Most people in the industry, at least on the sales side, have been in sales their entire career. They went from inside to outside. Now my sales career, I've kind of bounced around. I've worked at the distributor, rep firm, and even at the manufacturer level. So these are my experience is unique, and these are some of the things that I learned along the way. Um, you know, calling on engineers is very different from calling on contractors, and which is very different from working and calling on those distributors and rep firms as a manufacturer. But I feel like a lot of these things can be applied to all levels of sales and calling on customers. So hopefully, my intent is that you take something from this video and hopefully apply it to your experience. So when I first went out as an outside salesperson in 2007, I was given a list of accounts and was just left to my own devices. Just go out, call on these customers, and lay equipment out on their plans. And I had no idea what I was doing. Looking back now, I had zero idea what I was doing. I had an idea of what I was supposed to do, but how to properly do it, how to effectively do it, I had no idea. So hopefully some of these things you'll take from my experience. One of the things that I learned first off was, I think it's pretty obvious, but sometimes it's not so obvious, is find out who the principal of the company is. If there's multiple principals, find out who those people are. Find out obviously their names, how long they've been there, where they came from, if they came from somewhere else, and introduce yourself to that person. I mean, obviously they're not going to be involved in the day-to-day of, laying out a project. Their job is to go out and get more business. But it doesn't hurt to let them know who you are. Like, I'm the carrier rep, or I'm the VRF person, and stop by their office. I mean, it's kind of pointless to try to set up an appointment, because really all you want is at the most 5 to 10 minutes of their time. Just introduce yourself, leave a card, and maybe every other time you're back at that office, just stick your head in and wave hello and catch up. I mean, they're obviously very busy people, but it's also helpful to know that when you are there, let them know that you're there, so that in the back of their heads, they'll know or remember that, hey, so and so was here again this day helping out, the engineers, and just kind of plant that seed in the back of their head that you're bringing value to their company. Aside from that, next thing I would do is go down the list and find out who the decision makers are. Uh, Back when I was started out in 2007, LinkedIn wasn't a thing. At least I don't think it was. But LinkedIn makes it super easy to look up people at different companies, find out what their positions are, and hopefully you can figure out who those people are. And you can even send them a cold email if for some reason that account has been dead for a while or nobody has actively called on that account. You can reach out through LinkedIn, send them a message, and try to set up a meeting that way. I remember back then it was really intimidating because you would just go up to these offices. Uh, Sometimes they're really small. They don't have a front desk person, and you just kind of have to like knock on their doors and try to build a relationship that way. And it was super hard, but yeah, LinkedIn is there. It's a thing. Look up the important decision makers at the company and reach out and get to know them, and introduce yourself, and hopefully you can get in and build a relationship that way. One of the things that I learned quickly also was to don't forget about the person at the front desk. Most people, hopefully not now, but most people think that the front desk person is just an office manager. There's just some person answering the phones, directing phone calls, signing for packages. But really, if you think about it, they're the gatekeepers of that office. They're there to turn away people who are there to waste time, solicitors, whoever whoever's there trying to waste or trying to get a hold of the person in charge. It's the person at the front desk. It's their job to kind of weed out the people who are wasting time and the people there who bring value and who are there to do good work with the company. So obviously get to know them, know their names, get on their good side, and hopefully you'll get to the point where you don't have to report and sign in and say I'm here to see so and so. You can just say, oh hey, I'm here. I'm gonna go make my rounds with the engineers or whoever, and they just let you right on in. And ideally, you want to get out on that level. They can help you out. If you want to do a lunch and learn, they can tell you how many people are going to be there, or even go as far as to order the lunch for you, which is ideal. That's where you want to get to. Just say that you're going to come in with the lunch and learn, and they will send it out. They'll send out the invites. They'll do everything for you. And obviously, they're not going to do that for people that they don't like. Obviously, you want to get to that level so they can help you do your job as well. And obviously, this part is pretty obvious, but get to know all of these people, and that's something that I struggled with when I first went outside. Yeah, I was in my mid-20s. I didn't have a family. I rented. I lived in a house full of my buddies, and it was a hard time to kind of connect with these decision makers. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit further in their careers. They have families, they have homes, they have things outside of work, and we didn't have a lot in common. So it was hard for me to kind of build relationships if we didn't have a lot to connect with. A few things that I was able to find out and connect with people was, easiest thing is to look in their office and look at their desk. If obviously people want to make their offices and their desks reflect their personalities. You can see in my desk, I have Lego, I have pictures of my family. If you can just scan the room and pick something that kind of stands out to you, that you have an experience or a common ground with, that's always something that you can talk about. Obviously, when you get older, you have families. That's another thing to talk about. Follow up on their families, just because, once you have a family, that's something that everybody kind of has their trials and tribulations. Obviously we're doing stuff over the weekend with our families. We're hanging out with other families. So that's something that you can always lean on when you're building these relationships. Something else, two other things that I always like to bring up is where you went to school and where you grew up. I lived in different parts of California. Spent a lot of time in Northern California. So when I when I come across somebody who went to school up there or is from up there, I always go back to my time living up in the Bay Area, or asking where people went to school, favorite sports teams. That's always a thing. Shared experiences, families, where you grew up, where you went to school, stuff like that is all easy stuff that you can bring up when you're trying to get to know these people, when you're trying to build those relationships. And I bring all of this to say that you want to build these relationships because at the end of the day, people will do business with people that they like. If you take a step back and you look at what we're selling or what we're trying to sell, these are basically big boxes or things that either heat, cool, bring air into a building, or are accessories to those things that heat, cool, or bring air into a building. They all kind of do the same thing. And yeah, they have different features, price points, but at the end of the day, I really feel like people will do business that with people that they like. And obviously one of those things is building those relationships with customers. And how do you, and there's also the business side of it it's, how do you get them the things that they're asking for? For me, I found that being available, honest, and efficient has gotten me this far. Being available, what does that mean? That means replying to emails in a timely fashion. And I think now that doesn't mean responding to emails at 9 p.m. at night or at midnight. That just shows that you are either at the whims of this person, you don't have a life outside of work, or that you don't value your time when you're outside of work. Now, obviously, there's going to be exceptions to this rule. If something needs to be done by the next day, then obviously you're going to do what needs to be done. But just being available to an extent. To me, that just means replying to emails in a timely fashion, or acknowledging that email. Just say, hey, I see your email. I will get to it when I can. Voicemails, replying to voicemails, picking up the phone reasonably. Like, obviously, if you're driving and you can't pick up, don't pick up. Sometimes you can be on a text basis with your customers, and I think that's okay, as long as it's, again, with like same rules as email, as long as it's not odd hours. I think that's fine, as long as you're available and you reply in a timely manner. Being honest, I think this goes without saying, being honest in any relationship. What does that mean as far as a sales engineer? That means maybe turning down that project because your equipment can't do what the engineer is asking, or you can't meet that lead time, rather than saying, oh yeah, we can meet it, and then in the back of your head you know that it's either cutting it close or you can't meet it, and then customer asks, where's my equipment? And you just keep making up excuses or making up stories that you blame it on something else. Supply chain issues, this and that. If this becomes a thing or a habit, then I feel like those customers will be less likely to work with you, just because you'll say one thing and then you're not able to deliver it when it comes time. So I think being honest goes a long way. Obviously not just here, but in life in general. And then finally, being efficient. What does that mean? To me, that means being able to find pieces of information quickly and in a timely manner. And what does that mean? That means knowing where to go. Maybe having submittals, storing them locally on your computer and organizing them so you know how to look for them, where to find them, and sending them out quickly when customers ask for them. For me, sometimes it's having quotes, having a quote template pre-filled, so you can bring this up, and then just kind of fill in the blanks that need to be filled in. Having your file system on your computer, having that laid out in a logical fashion, just knowing where to look for stuff, knowing where to find stuff, knowing who to call. To me, that means being efficient. That also means being accurate. Sometimes we're under a deadline, but being accurate is super important. You don't want to send out the wrong price, and then having them order based off of that price, and then you're losing money in the end. Just being efficient and accurate, so that way your customer can depend on you whenever you come to them with a price or a selection. Everything is what they asked for. It's accurate, and they can go on doing their job. Thanks for watching. I'll leave a link to the newsletter where I talk about these things down in the description below. Please do me a favor, leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, share this with somebody who might find it valuable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.